Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Land and Freedom, the Spanish Revolution and Civil War. This is a game designed by Alex Knight and is published by Blue Panther. Yes, you heard me right. I said published by Blue Panther, not just printed by Blue Panther, but published as well. They've done some games already under their own label, and it's great to see them continue to expand their catalog here with this latest one, Land and Freedom. So let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this game's all about. 1936, right-wing army generals have rebelled against the Spanish Republic, aided by Hitler's Germany and Mussolini's Italy. To save Spain, three factions, anarchists, communists, and moderates, must put aside their differences and forge an anti-fascist alliance. But can you trust your allies when your agendas are directly opposed? Land and Freedom, the Spanish Revolution and Civil War is a card-driven tug-of-war game in which players are immersed in the dilemma of balancing this fragile alliance against their own political and revolutionary ideals. You must repel the fascist attack on the four fronts, while gaining the initiative through tableau building, deck management, and powerful medallions. If the war is won, the player with the most glory will win the game and determine the future of Spain. If the war against the fascists is lost, 40 years of dictatorship await, with death, imprisonment, or exile the only choices remaining. And at the bottom we get the game contents, a 22 by 17 inch map, 3 player aids, 111 poker-sized cards, 141 counters and 5 standees, 3 solitaire bots, a bag, and a rulebook. It is for 1 to 3 players. Playtime is 90 minutes, and it is for ages 13 and up. And here you see an example of the cards, the counters, and the map. So let's take a look inside and see what we get. All right, we get our deck of cards, a little fancy bag, a canvas map, our counters, our player aids and solo bots, and our rulebook. So let's set up the map and take a closer look at the game. And here's a look at the map that comes with the game. It is a very nicely done map, and it is a canvas map, something I really like that Blue Panther does. Couple reasons. Number one, I think these really let the colors pop better than they do on the paper map. And number two, it's a little more functional. These have better grip on the table, and also the counters grip on these much better as well. So you don't have to worry about them sliding around on a paper map like you do if you're ham-fisted like me. But you also don't have to put plexi on top of them, not just to keep them flat, but also to make sure your counters don't slide around. Really love the addition of the canvas map. And it's folded over, as Steve said, nice and gently, so that way you don't have any big creases in it. You can see I just put it down on the table right now, and it's already almost flat. Once it sits out there for a little bit longer, it'll be nice and flat. Here's your map of Spain. You have your 4 fronts, Northern, Madrid, Southern, and Aragon. Then we have 5 tracks on the right-hand side for liberty, collectivization, government, Soviet support, and foreign aid. Then we have our bonus tracks here. The medallion tracks in that fancy bag that we saw before, you're going to be drawing out the medallions and then placing them here on this track. Have the turn track over here, your current events track, and then the current year deck. So as you draw them out, you'll be placing your cards here. But overall, I really like this map, especially being that it is a canvas map. Next, we'll take a look at the player mats that come with the game. I've got them one on top of the other, the communists, anarchists, and moderates, because I'm going to show you the top right, which is where their differences are. The rest of the information on these cards are all going to be the same. You have an area for the draw deck, discards, hand, and the tableau. Then we have the turn sequence, end of year, attack on fronts, medallions, and the symbol key. Where they differ is in how they hold initiative. For the communists, hold initiative, control the government and suppress anarchist revolution. Liberty or collectivization must be less than 6. For the anarchists to hold initiative, the revolution, liberty, and collectivization must be 6 or higher. And the moderates, for them to hold the initiative, they must control the government and suppress the anarchist revolution. Liberty or collectivization must be less than 6. So you can see you have 3 distinct factions, which should lead to some interesting asymmetric play. And on the back of the player mat, we have the solitaire AI for each of the 3 factions. Here we have the communists. It's going to give you all the steps for the non-player turn sequence, add strength to a front, add attacks to a front, priority track, and the final bid for glory. All of these are going to be specific to that faction. Next, we'll take a look at the counter sheet that comes with the game. The top left, we have the different faction counters. We have the moderates, the communists, and the anarchists. Below that, we have the hero points, strength and attack points. Then we have the medallion counters over here. And then we have the standees as well as the initiative, morale bonus, and the teamwork bonus tokens. Next, we'll take a quick look at the cards that come with the game. At the bottom, we have the event deck, and this is going to be separated by year. Year 1, 2, and 3 of the conflict. Then at the top, we have the 3 different faction-specific decks that will give you different powers, different actions, event points, things like that that you can use in order to fulfill your individual faction's goals. And lastly, we'll take a look at the rules. This is a 15-page full-color rulebook. On the front cover, we have the table of contents listing out all the different rule sections and their associated page numbers. Then we have the introduction, explanation of the components, your setup, a breakdown of the map so you understand what all the sections are, which we've already looked at, how to win and lose the game, how initiative works. Then we get into the turn sequence, breaking down all the steps in the turn sequence for you. Player cards, which we've looked at. This is going to give you an explanation of how to use all the different parts of your player cards. Morale bonus, teamwork bonus, hero points, victory on fronts, defeats on fronts, and then we have tracks and triggers. Medallions, final bid for glory, end of the year, and then we have the appendix for the symbol key and the medallion. So you see the rules only go to page 10, so not a really long rules set. Then appendix 3 is the rules for the non-player factions. So when you're playing solitaire, here's how you will play each of those factions. Then we have the resources, credits, playtest list, and on the back of the rules, we have the setup diagram. And that is a look at everything you get inside of Land and Freedom, the Spanish Revolution, and Civil War. This is a game designed by Alex Knight and is published by Blue Panther. Well, it's great to see Blue Panther have another game in their catalog. They do a great job printing for other publishers. It's also fantastic to see them publish games under their own label. This should be pretty interesting. You got 3 different sides here, very asymmetric in this struggle for Spain during the Revolution and the Civil War. I'm a little familiar with the Civil War from the war game aspect, so it'll be interesting to see it from the historical game aspect, just a strategic game, and seeing how that's going to play, especially being that you can play this with the AI bots. You don't have to play against 2 other people, although it's going to obviously be more fun when you're playing against people versus a bot, but still, it's great that you have both options. You can play a 3-player game, or you can play a 2-player game with one of the bots, or you can play a solitaire game with the 2 bots. So I'm interested to check this out and see how it plays and then share my thoughts with you on it in a future review. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.